Kael'thas fired the plasma bolt directly at the human's chest, a warning shot that could vaporize a battlecruiser, and watched in horror as she plucked it out of the air like catching a butterfly. "Code extinction!" he screamed into his comm. "Human contact! Plasma resistance confirmed!" The woman examined the bolt, her head tilted with curiosity. The containment field should have burned through her hand in microseconds. Instead, she held it up to the artificial sunlight, watching it sparkle. Then she smiled at him and blew him a kiss. The plasma bolt crumpled in her fist like paper, sparks cascading between her fingers. "All units to Section 7, Commander Dirax's voice cracked through every channel. "Kael'thas, report status immediately." Kael'thas couldn't speak. In 15 years of military service across 37 conflict zones, nothing had prepared him for this. The human, a small creature by most species standards, stood in the restricted military zone wearing what appeared to be civilian clothing, and a smile that suggested she thought this was amusing. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. Hello?" she called out, waving with her free hand. The others still held the dissolved remains of the plasma bolt. "I'm looking for someone. I think you might work here." "Stay where you are!" Kael'thas raised his weapon again, knowing it was useless. "You are in violation of Galactic Security Protocol 779. This is a restricted—" She started walking toward him. "Do not move." "Oh, sorry." She stopped, looking genuinely apologetic. "I didn't see any signs. Is this a bad time? You seem stressed." Stressed. The word echoed in Kael'thas's mind. The human had just absorbed enough energy to level a small city, and she thought he seemed stressed. "Kael'thas, fire suppression pattern Delta," Dirax commanded. "Keep it contained until reinforcements arrive." He fired again, 3 bolts this time, spread formation, each one calibrated to drop a heavy assault mech. The human caught all 3. She juggled them. "Okay, these are actually pretty," she said, watching them arc between her hands. "Are they like decorative or something? Some kind of light show?" "Command, she's playing with them." Kael'thas felt his weapon arm trembling. Grade 3 plasma, and she thinks they're decorative. "Impossible," Vexia's voice cut in, the chief scientist, legendary for her work on energy manipulation. "Plasma at that grade has a core temperature of 7,000 Kelvin. Organic matter can't—" "She's juggling them, Vexia. Multiple containment fields. 0 degradation to tissue." Silence on the comm, then, "I'm on my way. Don't let her leave." "Don't let her leave." Kael'thas almost laughed. How exactly was he supposed to stop a creature that caught plasma bolts for fun? "Listen," the human said, still juggling. "I really just need to find someone. Tall guy, purple skin, has 3 eyes, comes in for coffee every morning around 7, orders a double shot with extra foam. Coffee?" She was describing his morning routine, his favorite cafe on the civilian level. "You know me?" "Well, yeah." Her face lit up with recognition. "You're my regular. Kale something, right?" "I'm terrible with last names. I'm Emma." She moved a wave, remembered her hands were full of plasma, and shrugged apologetically. "Sorry, bit occupied." The plasma bolts flickered out as she closed her fists, absorbed into nothing. "Kael'thas, 12 additional units arriving in 30 seconds, Dirax updated. Vexia estimates 2 minutes. Hold position." "Emma," Kael'thas said carefully, using the calming protocols for hostage situations, "why are you here?" "Oh." She reached into her pocket. Every weapon in the sector swiveled toward her and pulled out a small leather object. "You left your wallet at the shop this morning. I tried to catch you, but you were already gone. So I figured I'd just drop it off at your work. The security guy downstairs said you were up here." A wallet. She'd walked into the most secure military facility on the station, through 7 security checkpoints, past automated defense systems that should have stopped a Vexthul war party, and she'd done it to return a wallet. "You shouldn't be able to get past the ground floor," Kael'thas said weakly. "Oh, the security guy was super nice. He said I couldn't go up, but then I explained about the wallet, and he said—" She paused, thinking. "Actually, he just kind of stared at me, and then let me through. Did I get him in trouble?" "I didn't mean to." "Kael'thas, the ground floor scanner registered a human signature," another voice reported. "Security Officer Zurix logged an equipment malfunction and manually opened the barriers. He's currently in medical with acute panic disorder." Of course he was. Zurix had probably watched his scanners overload the moment Emma approached and decided manual entry was safer than explaining to command why his systems exploded. The reinforcements arrived, 12 elite soldiers in full combat armor, weapons trained on the small human who smiled and waved at them like they were friends meeting for lunch. "Wow, this is a lot of people just for one wallet," Emma said. "Is it like a really important wallet?" "I didn't look inside, I promise." Commander Dirax materialized via emergency transport, his 4 arms spread in a combat-ready stance that had won him 3 galactic medals. He took one look at Emma, then at Kael'thas, then back at Emma. "That's the threat?" he asked. Emma waved again. "Hi, are you his boss? He left his wallet at—" Dirax fired without hesitation. Grade 5 plasma, the kind reserved for hardened military targets. The bolt screamed through the air with enough force to punch through a cruiser's hull. Emma caught it with one hand, not even flinching. "Okay, seriously, what are these?" She held it up like examining an interesting rock. "They're really warm, kinda tingly. It's nice, actually." Drax fired again, and again, and again. Emma caught each one, now holding 4 plasma bolts like a bouquet of deadly flowers. "Are you guys selling these? Because if this is like a sample thing, they're honestly pretty cool. I bet they'd look great in my apartment." "Sir," one of the soldiers whispered, "those are grade 5. There shouldn't be anything left." "I can see that, Lieutenant," Dirax snapped. He opened a command channel to the highest military authority on the station. "This is Commander Dirax. I need authorization for grade 7 weaponry. Yes, I'm aware of the protocols. Yes, I understand the collateral damage. We have a human, and conventional weapons are ineffective." "Oh, I heard about grade 7, Emma said cheerfully. "That's the planet cracker stuff, right? My friend Sarah told me about those. She's a geologist, super into planetary formation, and your friend knows about classified military ordnance?" Dirax's voice hit a pitch Kael'thas had never heard before. "Well, yeah. She studies what planets look like after you guys crack them for mining. She says it's fascinating how the core structure—" "Bring it," Dirax ordered. "Bring the planet cracker." 2 soldiers arrived with a weapon that took both of them to carry. The authorization codes alone required 3 senior officers. Kael'thas had never seen one fired outside of simulations. "Emma," Kael'thas said quickly, "you need to run, now. That weapon will—" "Oh, I'm sure it's fine," Emma said. "They're just doing their job, right? Although, honestly, I'm going to be late for my shift if this takes much longer. Jenny's covering for me, but she's terrible with the espresso machine." Dirax activated the weapon. The charge-up alone made Kael'thas's scales itch. Safety protocols screamed warnings. The energy signature was enough to trigger evacuation alarms across 3 sectors. Emma set down her collection of plasma bolts carefully, arranging them in a neat little pile. "Okay, I'm ready. Hit me." "That's not an expression," Kael'thas yelled. "That will actually hit you," Dirax fired. The bolt crossed the distance in a microsecond, a condensed stream of energy that could atomize a small moon. Emma caught it with both hands, her feet sliding back slightly from the impact. "Oh, wow," she said, her eyes wide. "This one's definitely stronger. I can feel it through my whole arm." She looked down at the energy crackling between her palms. "It's making my hair stand up. Does my hair look weird?" Her hair did look strange, floating slightly. haloed by residual energy that should have reduced her to component atoms. The database, Dirac said quietly, his voice hollow. Search every database, every known species, every extinct civilization, every theoretical life form. Find me something that can do this. Kael'thas accessed the military archives, setting search parameters for plasma resistance, energy absorption, and physical durability beyond known scales. No matches. He expanded the search to include extinct species, theoretical constructs, and even mythological entities from pre-spaceflight civilizations. Nothing. Sir, he reported, there's no record of any organic life form capable of this level of energy interaction. The closest theoretical model would require a distributed nervous system made of exotic matter and a metabolism that violates conservation of energy. I'm really just a barista, Emma offered helpfully, still holding the planet cracker bolt. Should I put this somewhere? It's getting kinda heavy. Not like heavy, but arm workout heavy. Heavy. The weapon whose recoil required mechanical stabilization was giving her an arm workout. She's been holding it for 45 seconds, a scientist's voice crackled over the comm. At that energy level, even contained, the thermal radiation alone should have carbonized everything within 3 meters. But the ambient temperature hasn't changed. She's not just resistant, she's absorbing it completely. Emma shook her arms out, and the planet cracker bolt dissipated like morning fog. Okay, I really do need to go. Do you want your wallet, or should I just leave it somewhere? Don't move! At least 5 voices shouted simultaneously. Emma froze, looking hurt. You guys are really intense about security. Is this like a military thing? My uncle was in the military. He was always super paranoid about... Vexia is here, someone announced. The chief scientist arrived in a personal transport pod, unusual for someone who normally refused to rush for anything. She was carrying equipment that Kael'thas recognized as experimental-grade analysis tools. She took one look at Emma and went pale, impressive for a species whose skin was naturally gray. Hello, Emma said brightly. Are you a scientist? That's so cool. I almost went into chemistry, but turns out I'm terrible at math, so... Vexia raised a scanner, her hands shaking slightly. The device hummed, building to a high-pitched whine. Then it exploded. Oh no! Emma rushed forward. Every weapon tracked her movement and started picking up pieces. I'm so sorry. Did I break it? I break a lot of electronics. My phone dies constantly, and don't even get me started on what I do to microwaves. Vexia stared at her ruined equipment, then at Emma, then back at her equipment. You didn't touch it. I know, but I feel like I jinxed it or something. I have really bad luck with technology. My apartment building banned me from using the elevator system because I kept... You overloaded it from 3 meters away, Vexia interrupted. The sensors detected your baseline energy signature and couldn't process it. They literally couldn't believe you existed. Oh, Emma looked down at herself. Is that bad? I should probably see a doctor, huh? I've been meaning to get a checkup, but you know how it is. Work gets busy and... What's your normal energy output? Vexia demanded. My... What now? How much energy do you produce? Metabolically? How many calories do you process daily? Oh, I don't really count, but probably like 2,000? Is that what you mean? I eat pretty normal. Coffee, usually skip breakfast, sandwich for lunch, whatever for dinner. Sometimes pizza. I really like pizza. Vexia pulled out a backup scanner, this one clearly more robust. She approached cautiously, like Emma might explode. I'm going to scan you again. This device is designed to map energy signatures of quantum processors. It should handle whatever you are. Sure, Emma held still helpfully. The scanner lasted 10 seconds before its screen cracked. Vexia sat down on the deck plating, her legs apparently no longer willing to support her. It's not possible. What's not possible? Dirac demanded. Any of this. All of this. Her. Vexia gestured weakly at Emma, who was now looking concerned. According to every scientific principle we understand, she can't exist. Her cellular structure is processing energy at a rate that should require a stellar core. Her neural system is operating at quantum efficiency levels we can't achieve with superconductors, and she's doing it while metabolizing pizza. Pizza's really good, though, Emma said. There's this place on level 12 that does this thing with the cheese where you absorb energy equivalent to a small star, Vexia shrieked. Emma blinked. Is that a lot? Yes. Oh, Emma thought about this. That explains why I'm always so hungry. Kael'thas watched his chief scientist have a breakdown in real time. Vexia was legendary. She'd revolutionized 3 fields of physics. She'd solved the Gixnari paradox. She'd been offered positions at every major research institution in known space, and a human barista had broken her in under 2 minutes. Okay, walk me through this, Dirac said, his voice tight. In simple terms. What is she? Vexia laughed, the sound slightly unhinged. She's a paradox wrapped in organic matter. By our physics, her atoms should collapse into a singularity from the energy density. By our biology, her cells should combust from the metabolic rate. By our chemistry, her nervous system should have melted from the electron flow. But she's standing there, worried about being late for work, completely unaware that her existence violates everything we know. I didn't mean to violate anything, Emma said quickly. Is there, like, a form I need to fill out? I'm really sorry. I just wanted to return the wallet. How do you survive? Vexia asked, her voice desperate. What do humans do when they're injured? Usually just walk it off, put some ice on it. My mom always said fresh air and sunshine fixes everything, but honestly, I think that's just a mom thing. Walk it off, Vexia repeated numbly. You process energy at stellar levels, and you walk it off. Well, sometimes I take painkillers. For headaches and stuff. Oh, and Band-Aids for cuts, obviously. What's a Band-Aid, Emma? Explained Band-Aids. The explanation somehow made everything worse. You're telling me, Vexia said slowly, that humans have developed a solution for physical damage that consists of adhesive and cloth? I mean, there's antibiotic ointment too, helps prevent infection. Infection? Now Dirac looked panicked. You can get infected? Well, yeah, if bacteria gets in a cut. That's like basic biology? Bacteria affects you? Should it not? Kael'thas understood what was happening. They'd all made the same assumption, that a species this durable would be invulnerable to everything. But humans weren't invulnerable. They were just absurdly, impossibly resilient to specific things while remaining vulnerable to others in ways that made no sense. They could catch plasma that vaporized steel but needed adhesive strips for paper cuts. What else hurts you? He asked. Oh, tons of stuff. Stubbed toes are the worst. And Legos. Stepping on those is terrible. Paper cuts sting like crazy. Coffee burns if it's too hot. Brain freeze from ice cream. Mosquito bites itch forever. Sunburns, hangovers. That thing where you bite your cheek while eating, and then you keep biting it in the same spot. Oh, and stop! Vexia held up a hand. You're telling me the same species that absorbs planet cracker weapons is bothered by frozen drinks. Brain freeze is really painful. It can't possibly compare to... Have you ever had brain freeze? Emma challenged. Vexia opened her mouth, closed it, then turned to Dirac. Sir, I need to issue a formal scientific declaration. Humans are outside our conceptual framework. We don't have the language or mathematics to describe what they are. Try anyway, Dirac ordered. They're walking conservation of energy violations who complain about cold beverages. They're quantum impossibilities worried about being late to serve coffee. She stopped, staring at Emma with something like awe. They're terrifying. I'm not terrifying, Emma protested. I'm like super nice. Ask anyone at the cafe. I remember everyone's orders and I always write nice things on cups and... A new voice crackled over the comm, one that made even Dirac stiffen. This is High Chancellor Zara of the Galactic Council. I'm receiving reports of a human breaching military protocols. Explain the situation immediately. Dirac summarized as professionally as possible, though Kael'thas could hear the strain in his voice. Silence, then. She caught plasma bolts. Multiple, Chancellor. And she's unharmed. Completely. What does she want? Drax looked at Emma. Emma held up the wallet. She wants, Drax said slowly, to return a wallet to a customer. Another long silence. I'm convening an emergency council session. Don't let her leave, but for the sake of all that's stable in the universe, don't fire anything else at her. We need to establish diplomatic protocols before humans realize they're functionally indestructible. Too late, Emma said helpfully. We know we're pretty sturdy. My friend Mike once fell off a building during construction work, broke like everything. He was fine after a few months of physical therapy. Fell off a building? Multiple voices shouted. He was fine, Emma insisted. Humans heal. That's normal. Nothing about your species is normal, Vexia whispered. High Chancellor Zara arrived in person, something that hadn't happened in Kael'thas's lifetime. She was flanked by the Council's top military and scientific advisors, all of whom stared at Emma like she might explode. Emma waved. Hello. Wow, this is a lot of important-looking people. Am I in trouble? I really didn't mean to cause problems. You're not in trouble, Zara said carefully, in the tone one might use with a loaded antimatter device. We're just trying to understand the situation. Oh, good. So can I give Kael'thas his wallet now? I really do need to get to work. Work, Zara repeated. You serve coffee. Yep. Been at Morrison's Cafe for 3 years now. Great benefits, and my co-workers are awesome. We do this thing on Fridays where you can destroy planets and you serve coffee. Emma's face scrunched in confusion. I can't destroy planets. That's crazy talk. You absorbed a planet cracker weapon. Oh, that? I mean, I just caught it. That's not the same as shooting it. Vexia stepped forward, having apparently regained some composure. Emma, may I ask you some questions about human capabilities? Sure. What's the heaviest thing you can lift? I don't really know. I helped my friend move last month and her couch was pretty heavy. Does that count? A couch, Vexia said flatly. Can you bend metal? Like, with tools? With your hands? I mean, I guess. I've never really tried. Why would I need to bend metal? To demonstrate, Vexia pointed at a support strut, solid titanium alloy, 30 centimeters thick. Can you bend that? Emma walked over and examined it. This is part of the building, though. Won't that cause problems? We can repair it, please try. Emma gripped the strut with both hands and pulled. The metal groaned, then bent like soft clay. Oh wow, that's actually kind of easy. Is it supposed to be this bendy? No, at least 10 people shouted. Emma let go quickly. Sorry, did I break it? The strut was now at a 45-degree angle, twisted in ways that would require industrial equipment to fix. That supports 6 tons, Vexia said quietly. You bent it like wire. Is that bad? It's terrifying. You keep saying that, because it keeps being true. Zara held up a hand for silence. Emma, I need to ask you something important. When Kael'thas fired at you, were you afraid? Emma thought about it. Not really. I mean, I was confused about why he was shooting, but I figured it was some kind of security test or something. You guys take safety really seriously. You weren't afraid of weapons designed to destroy military vehicles. Should I have been? They just felt warm and tingly. Zara turned to her advisors. Initiate protocol paradigm shift. As of this moment, all human interaction protocols are suspended pending complete reevaluation. Military assets are to treat humans as neutral parties regardless of circumstances. Under no circumstances is anyone to fire upon a human for any reason. But Chancellor, one advisor protested, What if they're hostile? Then we surrender, Zara said bluntly, because we cannot stop them, and based on this interaction, they don't realize they could destroy us by accident. I wouldn't destroy anyone, Emma said, looking horrified. That's terrible. Why would I do that? Exactly, Zara said. You wouldn't, which is the only reason any of us are safe. She turned to Emma directly. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I apologize for the confusion and alarm. You're free to go. Please deliver the wallet to Kael'thas. Emma brightened immediately. Really? Oh, thank goodness! She walked over to Kael'thas, who tried very hard not to flinch. Here you go. You've got all your cards and everything. I didn't look, but I made sure nothing fell out. Kael'thas took the wallet with shaking hands. Thank you. No problem. You're a good tipper, so I wanted to make sure you got it back. She smiled at him, the same warm smile she gave when handing over his morning coffee. Sorry if I interrupted anything important. You didn't interrupt, he managed. This was educational. Oh, good. Well, I should run. Jenny's definitely set the espresso machine on fire by now. Happens every time I leave her alone with it. She started walking toward the exit, then paused and turned back. Oh, and Kael'thas? You looked really serious earlier, with all the shooting and stuff. Try to smile more. Life's too short to be so stressed. She blew him a kiss, the same gesture she'd done when catching his first plasma bolt, and walked away. Every weapon tracking system in the facility followed her movements until she disappeared from sight. Sir, one of the soldiers said weakly, she blew him a kiss. I noticed, Dirac said. After catching plasma bolts, she blew him a kiss. Yes. Is that a human threat display? Kael'thas, who was still staring at the empty doorway, said quietly, I think she was flirting. The entire assembled military and scientific elite turned to look at him. She was what? Zara demanded. The kiss, the smile. She does that sometimes at the cafe when she's being friendly. I think she was flirting with me. Vexia started laughing again, that slightly unhinged sound. She absorbed enough firepower to level a city, and she was flirting. Humans are flirting with the people who shoot at them. Of course they are. Why would they be anything else? The emergency Galactic Council session lasted 6 hours. Kael'thas was required to attend as a primary witness, along with Dirac, Vexia, and everyone else who'd interacted with Emma. The council chambers were packed. Every major species had sent representatives, all demanding to know if the reports were accurate. Zara presented the evidence, scanner data, video recordings, energy signatures, and witness testimony. She left nothing out. The room erupted. This changes everything, someone shouted. We need to establish contact protocols immediately. Should we be worried about invasion? Did anyone consider she might not be typical? Maybe she's enhanced. Vexia addressed that last point. We've accessed human public records. They're surprisingly open about their species. Emma Johnson is, by human standards, completely average. She works a standard service job, lives in a standard apartment, and has no military or scientific training. If anything, she's slightly below average in height. The chamber went silent. Below average, someone repeated. Yes, average human height is 1.7 meters. Emma is 1.65. So there are bigger ones. Significantly. More chaos. Zara called for order, eventually resorting to shutting down everyone's microphones except her own. Here's what we know, she said firmly. Humans are physically capable of feats we considered impossible. They're unaware that these feats are impossible. They're friendly, social, and apparently interested in careers like serving coffee, despite being functionally indestructible. Based on Emma's behavior and our research into human culture, they value kindness, courtesy, and not being late to work. That's insane, someone muttered, forgetting their mic was still off. Yes, Zara agreed. It's also our new reality. I'm issuing the following directives. First, all military protocols regarding humans are suspended. Do not fire upon humans under any circumstances. They will either catch your weapons or think you're flirting. Nervous laughter rippled through the chamber. Second, establish friendly diplomatic relations immediately. Humans respond well to courtesy and social niceness. Treat them like honored guests. Even though they could destroy us? Especially because they could destroy us, Zara said. They don't realize they're dangerous. Let's keep it that way by being very, very nice to them. Third, cultural exchange programs. We need to understand humans before we accidentally insult them and they retaliate by walking through our ships. Kael'thas raised his hand. Chancellor, about that. I don't think humans retaliate like that. Emma was genuinely concerned about breaking the scanner. She apologized multiple times. I think humans are actually just nice. You're saying a species that can absorb stellar energy is nice by nature? Emma is, and she said she's average. Zara absorbed this. Then we're very fortunate they evolved to value kindness. She made a note. Fourth directive. Someone compile a comprehensive guide on human interaction. Include items like don't shoot them and coffee is some important and brain freeze is apparently equivalent to weapons-grade trauma. Vexia added, I'm starting a research initiative on human biology. With their permission, obviously. I need to understand how they violate physics while eating pizza. Approved, Zara said. Any other business? Kael'thas raised his hand again. Chancellor, Emma invited me for coffee. Is that significant? She blew me a kiss. She was smiling. I think she's interested, romantically. The chamber went dead quiet. You're telling me, Zara said slowly, that after we fired planet-cracking weapons at her, she's interested in dating you. I believe so, yes. Humans, Vexia said wonderingly, are attracted to people who shoot at them. This explains so much about their entertainment media. Should I accept? Kael'thas asked. Zara thought about it. Yes, for diplomatic reasons, absolutely yes. We need a cultural liaison, and she already likes you. Take her to coffee. Be nice. Learn everything you can about human courtship rituals. Report back to the council. You want me to date her for diplomatic intelligence? I want you to date her because she can bend titanium with her bare hands and she thinks you're cute. Don't mess this up, Kael'thas. The fate of galactic peace might depend on your dating skills. No pressure then, he muttered. The session concluded with formal documentation. The Emma incident now required reading for all military and diplomatic personnel. The key takeaway was summarized in one line. Humans are friendly. Keep them that way.